Jack Morrison stood in the center of the great hall. The room was very large and very quiet. The walls were made of a dark metal that seemed to absorb the light. Above him, high on a raised platform, sat the members of the Galactic Council. They were not human. Some looked like tall insects with shiny shells. Others were large beings with skin like gray stone. They all looked down at Jack with many eyes. Jack felt small in this place, but he did not show fear. He stood straight and kept his hands at his sides. He was wearing his standard flight suit, which was blue and a little worn from his recent journey. He had just completed a very dangerous mission. The council had asked humans to retrieve an old artifact from a dead zone. A dead zone was a place where ships usually disappeared. No other species wanted to go there. The risks were too high, but humans were known for taking risks. Jack had gone there in his ship, the U.S. Resolute. He had found the artifact and brought it back safely. Now he was waiting for the council to speak. The head counselor, a tall being with silver skin, leaned forward. Its voice echoed in the room without a microphone. It spoke the common trade language, though the words sounded strange coming from its mouth. The counselor said that Jack had done well. It said that humanity had proven itself useful to the coalition. Because of this, Jack was owed a reward. The council could give him anything within reason. He could ask for credits, which was their money. He could ask for advanced technology. He could even ask for a new ship. Jack thought about this. For a moment, he looked at the faces of the aliens. He did not care about money. His crew back on the Resolute did not need more credits. They already had enough to fix their engines and buy food. He also did not want new technology. Humans like to build their own things. They did not like using tools they did not understand. Jack wanted something else. He wanted something to show his crew. He wanted a story to tell them when he got home. Jack cleared his throat. He spoke clearly so everyone could hear him. He said that he did not want money or weapons. He said he just wanted a souvenir. He asked for something unique from their archives. He wanted an object that was rare, something no one else had. He thought this was a simple request. He thought they would give him an old statue or a piece of alien art. The council members looked at each other. They whispered among themselves in clicks and hums. Jack waited. He did not know that his request was confusing them to the aliens. Asking for a souvenir from the archives was a strange thing. Humans were seen as curious creatures. They always wanted to touch things they should not touch. Council discussed what to give him. They did not want to give him anything too powerful, but they also did not want to give him something boring. Finally, the Silver Counselor spoke again. It said they would grant his wish. They would give him a specimen from the secure archives. Jack nodded. He thought this sounded interesting. A specimen could be a plant or a fossil. He did not think it would be anything dangerous. Two guards walked onto the floor. They were carrying a large crate between them. The crate was made of thick black metal. It had red lights blinking on the corners. The guards set the crate down in front of Jack. It was heavy. The floor made a low thud when it landed. Jack looked at the crate. He saw symbols on the side that he could not read. There was a warning label, but it was in alien script. He looked up at the counselor and asked what it was. The counselor said it was a living thing. Jack was surprised. He thought archives were for dead things. The counselor explained that this species was rare. They called it a sanguine. Jack had never heard of them. The counselor said the creature was dormant. It was asleep inside the box. Standing near the back of the room was Ambassador Daniel Cross. He was the human liaison to the council. He looked worried. He stepped forward slightly, but did not speak. Jack noticed the look on Daniel's face. It was a look of concern. Daniel knew more about the council than Jack did. If Daniel was worried, then maybe Jack should be worried too, but Jack had already agreed to the reward. He could not back down now. That would be rude. It would make humans look weak. The counselor told Jack that the crate was sealed. It said the seal should not be broken. Jack promised he would keep it sealed. He just wanted to show it to his crew. He wanted to show them that he had been to the High Council and received a gift. The council seemed satisfied with this. They believed the creature inside was too dangerous for humans to handle. They thought the humans would keep it locked away forever. In their minds they were getting rid of a problem by giving it to Jack. Jack walked over to the crate. He placed his hand on the cold metal. He could feel a very faint vibration coming from inside. It was like a heartbeat, but slow, much slower than a human heart. He signaled to his security team. 2 men came forward to help him lift the box. It was very heavy. They struggled to carry it. Jack thanked the council. He turned around and began to walk out of the great hall. The heavy doors opened slowly. As he walked down the long corridor, Jack looked at the crate. Again, the red lights blinked in a steady rhythm. He wondered what kind of creature was inside. He thought about the warning label. He decided not to worry about it. He was a human. Humans solved problems. If there was a danger, they would deal with it when it came. For now he had his reward. He had his souvenir. He walked toward the shuttle that would take him back to the Resolute. He did not know that he was carrying a storm with him. He did not know that the council had just handed him a weapon. They were too afraid to keep. Jack just smiled. He thought about the look on his crew's faces when they saw the box. It would be a good story. The shuttle airlock hissed open with a loud sound. Jack stepped onto the metal floor of the U.S. Resolute. It felt good to be home. The ship smelled like oil and recycled air. This was a human smell. It was much better than the cold scent of the council hall. 2 security guards followed him closely. They carried the black crate between them. Their faces were red from the effort. The box was very heavy. It seemed to weigh more than it should. They walked down the long corridor to the main cargo bay. The lights in the hall were bright white. The walls were gray steel. Jack led the way. He wanted the crate secured quickly. He did not like having unknown things on his ship, but he had promised the council he would keep it. Humans kept their promises. It was a matter of honor. If he said he would take the gift, he would take it. He would not leave it behind. In the cargo bay, the guards set the crate down on a reinforced pad. The metal legs of the pad groaned under the weight. The red lights on the corner of the box continued to blink. One blink happened every 2 seconds. It was steady. It was like a heartbeat. Jack stood over the box. He crossed his arms. He looked at the warning symbols again. He still could not read them. The symbols looked like sharp triangles and jagged lines. They looked aggressive. Lieutenant Kate Miller arrived a few minutes later. She was the chief medical officer. She carried a handheld scanner. It was a small device with a green screen. She did not look happy. She had heard about the reward. She had heard it was from the secure archives. She walked around the crate slowly. She held the scanner close to the metal. The device made a clicking sound. Then it started to beep. The beeping got faster. Kate frowned. She looked at the screen. The numbers were moving too fast to read. She looked up at Jack. She said the readings were strange. She said the energy signature was not normal. It was not like any biology she had seen before. Jack asked if it was dangerous. Kate hesitated. She said the box was blocking most of the scans, but she could feel something. She said there was a low-frequency hum. It was so low that humans could not hear it, but they could feel it in their bones. It made her teeth ache. Jack nodded. He told her to log the data. He wanted to know everything about this thing. Just then the ship's computer chimed. A message was coming in. It was from Ambassador Daniel Cross. His face appeared on the screen above the cargo bay. He looked tired. He told Jack to listen carefully. He said the council had made a mistake. He said they did not give Jack a souvenir. They gave him a problem. Daniel said the creature inside was a sanguine. He said the coalition called them space vampires. Jack felt a cold chill. He had heard stories about vampires. They drank blood. They took life. Daniel continued. He said the creature was dormant now, but when it woke up, it would need energy. The council did not know how to feed it safely. They said it was a death sentence wrapped in flesh. Daniel begged Jack to leave it in stasis. He said, do not open the box. He said if the seal broke, the creature might drain the life from everyone on the ship. The message ended. The screen went dark. The cargo bay was quiet. The only sound was the hum from the crate. The two security guards looked at Jack. They looked worried. Kate put her scanner away. She said she did not like this. She said the crew would be scared. Jack knew she was right. Humans were superstitious. They liked stories about ghosts and monsters. Now they had a real monster on board. Whispers would spread through the ship. Quickly, someone would call it a curse. Someone would say Jack had doomed them all. Jack walked over to the crate. He placed his hand on the lid. The metal was cold. He could feel the vibration. Now it was faint. It was like a cat purring. He thought about the council. Why would they give this to him? Did they want him to fail? Did they want him to see if humans would destroy it? Jack did not know, but he knew he could not just ignore it. He turned to Kate. He told her to set up a monitoring station. He wanted sensors on the box every second. If the temperature changed, he wanted to know. If the energy level spiked, he wanted to know. Kate nodded. She started to give orders to the tech team. They brought cables and small devices. They attached them to the corners of the crate. Jack walked to the door of the cargo bay. He stopped and looked back. The red lights blinked in the dim room. He knew the crew was talking. He could feel the tension in the air, but Jack did not care about the whispers. He cared about the truth. He believed there was a logical explanation. Aliens were afraid of many things. Humans were not afraid of the dark. They walked toward it. He left the cargo bay. The heavy doors closed behind him. He walked down the hall toward the bridge. He needed to plot their course home, but his mind was on the box. He had asked for a simple reward. He had received a mystery. He would solve it. That was what humans did. The ship engines hummed as they prepared for Jump, the vibration matched the hum of the crate. For a moment Jack thought the ship and the box were singing together. He shook his head. He was being silly, but he could not shake the feeling that the creature inside was waiting. The ship traveled through the dark space. 3 days had passed since they left the council station. The crew was working hard, but something was wrong. People were tired. They dropped tools. They forgot orders. The mood on the S Resolute was heavy. Jack noticed it on the bridge. Reports came in from every department. The engine room crew was slow. The kitchen staff burned the food. Everyone felt like they had not slept in weeks. Jack knew why it was. The crate, the containment field was failing. The red lights on the box were blinking faster. Now they blinked every second. The hum was louder. Jack could feel it in his chest when he walked near the cargo bay. It was a vibration that shook his teeth. He called Kate to the bridge. She looked pale. Her eyes were dark. She said the energy readings were spiking. The creature was waking up. Jack knew he had to act. He could not let the crew suffer. He decided to go to the cargo bay. He told Kate to stay on the comms. If something went wrong, she was to seal the bay. Jack walked alone down the corridor. The lights flickered. Above him, the air felt thick. It was hard to breathe. The walls seemed too close in. He reached the cargo bay doors. They opened slowly. The hinges squeaked. Inside, the crate was shaking. The black metal vibrated against the floor. Sparks flew from the locking mechanism. The containment field was a blue glow around the box. It was flickering on and off. Sometimes it disappeared completely. Jack walked closer. He did not bring a weapon. He brought only his voice. He wanted to show he was not afraid. He stood in front of the crate. He spoke calmly. He said he was Jack. He said he was not an enemy. He asked the creature to listen. At first there was no sound. The ship was silent. Then a voice spoke in his head. It was not a sound. It was a feeling. It was sadness. It was fear. Jack closed his eyes. He saw images in his mind. He saw the council ships. They were large and dark. He saw them hunting. He saw this creature running away. It hid in asteroids. It hid in dead zones. It was not a monster. It was a refugee. The council had lied. They called it a vampire to make others afraid, but it only took energy to survive. It did not want to kill. Jack felt pity. He understood now. The creature was starving. That was why it was pushing out. It needed food. The council had given it to Jack without any supplies. They expected it to die or kill the humans. Jack stepped back. He called Kate. He told her what he felt. He told her it was not dangerous if fed properly. Kate was skeptical. She said it was a sanguine. She said the book said they were killers. Jack said the books were written by the council. He said it was a person. Kate sighed. She agreed to help. They went to the medical lab. They worked for hours. The ship moved quietly through the void. Kate analyzed the energy readings on her screen. She tried to make a synthetic mix. She used battery cells and nutrient paste. She added a rare isotope that matched the creature's signature. It was a guess, but it was all they had. They mixed chemicals in a glass beaker. The liquid glowed blue. They put the mix into a canister. It was small and metal. Jack took the canister back to the cargo bay. The crate was still shaking. The blue field was almost gone. The red lights were bright. Jack opened the lid. It was risky. The lock hissed and released. Steam came out. A cold wind blew into the room. Jack did not run. He placed the canister inside. He stepped back. He waited. A shadow moved inside the box. It was tall and thin. Its skin was pale, like moonlight. Its eyes were dark and deep. It looked at Jack. It did not attack. It reached out a long hand. The fingers were sharp. It took the canister. The creature drank the energy. The liquid glowed as it went into its mouth. The red lights on the box stopped blinking. They turned solid green. Hum stopped. The ship felt lighter. Pressure in the air vanished. Creature looked at Jack again. This time the feeling in Jack's head was gratitude. It was peace. The creature retreated into the shadows of the box. It closed the lid from the inside. Click sounded. It was locked. Jack let out a breath. He did not know he was holding. His hands were shaking. He had taken a big risk. If he was wrong, he would be dead, but he was right. Humans trusted their instincts. They looked for understanding instead of violence. They did not shoot first. They asked questions. Jack walked out of the cargo bay. The crew in the hall looked at him. They felt the change. The heavy feeling was gone. They could breathe easy. Lights stopped flickering. Jack told them it was handled. He did not tell them everything. Not yet. He went to his quarters. He sat down on his bunk. He thought about the council. They had tried to test humanity. They wanted to see if humans would destroy the creature. They thought humans were like them. They thought humans only understood force. But humans did something else. They made a friend. Jack smiled. The journey home would be different now. They were not just transporting cargo. They were protecting a life. The ship jumped to faster than light speed. The stars stretched into lines. Jack closed his eyes. He slept better than he had in days. Days turned into a week. The ship was quiet again. The crew felt normal. The heavy feeling was gone from the air. Jack visited the cargo bay every day. He brought fresh energy canisters. Kate made them in the lab. She used special batteries and nutrients. The creature accepted them. It did not speak with words. It spoke with feelings. Jack sat on a crate. The box. He closed his eyes. He let the creature into his mind. The connection was strong. It was like dreaming while awake. The images were clear in Jack's head. Jack saw the home world of the Sanguine. It was dark and beautiful. There were no cities of metal. There were caves of crystal. The people lived in peace. They shared energy freely. Then the ships came. The coalition ships were large and gray. They landed on the crystal caves. They demanded obedience. They wanted slaves. The Sanguine refused. They did not want to serve masters. They wanted to be free. So the coalition hunted them. They called them monsters. To justify the hunt, they locked them in boxes. They put them in archives. Jack saw the fear. He felt the pain of many years. He understood why the council gave him this gift. It was not a gift. It was a trap. Jack opened his eyes. He looked at the black box. He knew the truth now. The coalition wanted to see if humans would be like them. They thought humans would kill the creature, or they thought the creature would kill the humans. Either way, the coalition would be rid of the problem. But humans were different. Humans did not follow the old rules. Humans saw a person in the box, not a pet, not a weapon. Jack stood up. He felt angry. He did not like being used. He did not like lies. He walked out of the cargo bay. He went to the bridge. The hallway felt long. Lights seemed too bright. His mind was Racing, he had to make a choice. Bridge was busy. Officers watched the screen. Stars moved past the windows. Jack sat in the captain's chair. The computer beeped. An incoming message was here. It was from Ambassador Daniel Cross. Jack answered the call. Daniel's face appeared on the main screen. He looked very stressed. His face was pale. He spoke quickly. He said the coalition noticed the change, the containment. Signals had stopped broadcasting. Failure, they knew the creature was active. They knew it was not in stasis. The council was watching the data closely. Daniel said the council was angry. They demanded the return of the specimen. They called it an asset. They said it belonged to the coalition. Jack listened. He did not interrupt. Daniel said if Jack did not return it, there would be trouble. The coalition could label humanity as hostile. They could stop trade. They could block human ships. They could cut off fuel supplies. Jack looked at Daniel. He saw fear in the ambassador's eyes. Daniel was trying to help. He was stuck between the council and Jack. He wanted peace, but he knew the council was powerful. Jack spoke calmly. He said he would not return the creature. He said it was not a thing. It was a living being. He said the council lied about what it was. Daniel shook his head. He said it did not matter. The council made the rules. Humans were new members. They had to follow orders. Jack leaned forward. He said humans followed their own conscience. He said they did not hand over friends to be hurt. He said humanity was not for sale. Daniel sighed. He said Jack was making a mistake. He said the council would send a ship. They would come to take it by force. The ship would be a dreadnought. It would have heavy weapons. Jack ended the call. The screen went dark. The bridge was silent. The officers looked at Jack. They waited for orders. Jack looked at the star map. They were far from home. They were in deep space. If a war started here, no one would know. Jack thought about the creature in the bay. It trusted him. It had shown him its memories. Jack could not betray that trust. He stood up. He told the crew to prepare. He said they might have visitors. He said they would not give up the guest. He ordered the shields to be charged. He ordered the weapons to be ready, but he hoped they would not have to fire. Kate came to the bridge. She stood near Jack. She said the creature was calm. It knew something was wrong. It could feel the tension. It was ready to help. Jack nodded. He said it was time to show the galaxy what humans were made of. They were not bullies. They were protectors. The ship engines hummed. The speed increased. Jack looked out the window. The stars were bright. He knew the coalition ship would be big. It would have many guns, but Jack had something they did not expect. He had the truth, and he had an ally, the us. Resolute moved into the dark. It waited for the storm. Jack was ready. He would stand his ground. He would not let them take his friend. The simple reward had become a test of humanity's soul, and Jack intended to pass. He looked at his crew. They were scared but steady. They trusted him. He would not let them down. The screen flashed again. A new signal appeared. It was close. The enemy was here. Jack took a deep breath. He gripped the arms of his chair. The wait was over. The shadow fell over the us. Resolute. It was huge and dark. The coalition dreadnought blocked the stars. From view, it looked like a mountain of metal floating in space. It was covered in guns and heavy armor. It looked like a weapon made only for war. Jack sat in the captain's chair on the bridge. His Hands were steady on the arms of the seat. The bridge crew waited in silence. They were quiet. The air felt tight and heavy. Everyone knew what was coming. The enemy ship hailed them. The main screen flickered to life. It showed a coalition commander. He looked like the counselor from before. He had silver skin and cold eyes. He spoke without greeting. He demanded the crate, he said. It was stolen property. He said humans were breaking the law. Jack listened. He did not look away. He said the creature was not property. He said it was a partner. The commander laughed. The sound was harsh. He said humans were foolish. He said they did not understand the danger. He ordered Jack to surrender the asset. He said if Jack refused, the dreadnought would fire the weapons on. The alien ship began to glow. They were charging up. The threat was real and immediate. Jack knew his ship could not win a fight. The Resolute was a survey ship. It was not built for war. The dreadnought had enough fire to destroy them 10 times over, but Jack did not move. He looked at the screen. He said, no. His voice was calm. The commander was angry. He gave the order to attack. The lights on the alien ship turned red. Jack turned to his crew. He told them to hold steady. He told them to trust him. Then he opened the comms to the cargo bay. He spoke to the Sanguine. He did not use words. He used the connection they had built over the week. He sent a feeling of protection. He sent a feeling of stand together. The creature answered. It sent back calm. It sent back strength. Jack closed the channel. He waited. The alien ship fired, but no beams came out. No missiles flew. The dreadnought shook slightly. The lights on its hull flickered. Inside the bridge of the enemy ship, systems began to fail. The screens went dark. The engines stopped humming. The weapons powered down. It was not an attack. It was asleep. The Sanguine had reached out with its mind. It did not hurt anyone. It just turned off the machines. It used psychic energy to calm the technology. The coalition commander shouted on the screen. Then his image froze. The connection was lost. The dreadnought drifted in space. It was helpless. Jack watched on his sensors. The alien ship was not damaged. It was just quiet. The crew on the Resolute cheered. They were safe. Jack did not cheer. He watched the alien ship. Slowly the lights came back on. The engine started. The coalition commander appeared again. He looked confused. He looked afraid. He had never seen this before. They thought the Sanguine was a wild beast. They thought it needed chains, but it had chosen to help. It had chosen the human. The commander spoke softly. He asked what humans had done. Jack said they had made a friend. He said humans did not need to chain things to control them. He said trust was stronger than steel. The commander was silent. He understood the message. The coalition could not fight an enemy that tamed their weapons. They could not win a war against a species that turned monsters into allies. The commander said they would withdraw. He said the council would hear about this. He said humanity was different. Jack nodded. He said yes. The dreadnought turned away. It jumped to faster than light speed. It disappeared into the dark. The bridge was quiet again. Jack let out a long breath. Kate stood next to him. She smiled. She said they did it. Jack said we did it. He meant the crew and the creature. He went to the cargo bay. The crate was open. The Sanguine stood there. It looked healthy. Its skin glowed softly. It did not look like a monster. It looked like a person. Jack nodded to it. The creature nodded. Back it had a silent agreement. They would travel together. Jack went back to the bridge. He set the course for home. They had a long journey, but they were not alone. The simple reward had changed everything. Humanity had proven its worth, not with guns but with heart. The galaxy would know now. Humans were not just survivors, they were builders of bridges. Jack looked at the stars. He was happy. He had asked for a souvenir. He got a future. The ship moved forward. The engine hum was steady. The creature hummed with it, two songs becoming one. Jack smiled. It was a good reward. Crew began to relax. The tension left their shoulders. They knew now that their captain could handle anything, even an alien vampire. Jack thought about the council. They would be talking about this for a long time. They would wonder how humans did it. They would wonder why humans were so brave. Jack knew the answer. It was because humans cared. They cared about life, even life that looked scary. That was the human way. The Resolute flew into the deep dark. It was safe. It was strong, and it had a new friend.